Others, on the other hand, prefer to put on a full performance in front of them when they notice a camera in their home. Various amusing, bizarre, and even strange events are captured on video, and we'll see some of them right here. So you'd best stick around and watch the video because I'm going to show you 7 very unusual security camera footage today. Before we begin, don't forget to give me a comment on what you think I should do. Women are said to be terrible drivers, and the footage captured by this camera confirms this. Despite her best efforts, the lady in the video is unable to move out of the parking lot she's stuck in. Despite the fact that she has a lot of room, she gets herself into a lot of difficulty and spends more than 10 minutes attempting to get out till she finally succeeds after a lot of movement. And if we stick with parking lots, some individuals will park wherever they want, regardless of whether or not they're obstructing the path of another vehicle. And that's exactly what occurred here. This guy had left his motorbike in the parking spot, and when he returned, he saw that a black vehicle had been positioned behind him, preventing him from exiting. He does all he can to get out, but he's unsuccessful. He takes measurements and waits, but when the owner of the other vehicle does not come, he does something that no one would expect. He goes up to the automobile and begins to push it around the front of the vehicle. To his surprise, he was able to move it, and he was able to get out due to his immense power. The picture captured by this security camera captured the moment a vehicle crashes into a swimming pool. In the backdrop, you can see that the vehicle was being towed by a tow truck when it abruptly detaches itself and drives to the neighbor's swimming pool on its own, with no driver. The tow truck manager attempts to chase after the vehicle, but he's unsuccessful, and the car eventually sinks. He had to have one of the worst days of his life since he messed up both the vehicle and the pool, to put it mildly. Leopards are a prevalent wild animal in India, and they're capable of attacking whatever they come into contact with. In this film, for example, the moment when 2 men attempt to flee from one of these little creatures is shown in great detail. One of the guys is successful in concealing himself inside a vehicle, while the other is unable to find his way out. After being unable to open one of the doors, he attempts to board the truck, but is unsuccessful. When he's attacked by the leopard grips him by one of his legs before releasing him. The leopard immediately attempts to enter a home, but when he's unable to do so, he returns in the direction of the vehicle, but he no longer assaults the guys in the truck. As reported by the national media, the leopard was able to escape and no harm was done to the individuals who were filming him. If you saw the last video, you're probably familiar with the guy who began kissing the doorbell of a nearby home. Similarly insane, he contributed to the recording's unexplained and terrifying nature. In the middle of the night, a very odd guy with his face hidden walked to the entrance of a home, and after making sure no one was looking, he dropped something on the floor and departed. He walked out the door after ringing the bell. The owner of the home departs after opening the door and seeing that no one was inside. There was just one thing left, the bag that the odd guy had left behind. The owner of the home grabs it and goes back inside the house to finish it. However, the guy in the mask reappears minutes later and continues to act in a bizarre manner. It's unclear what was in the bag at the time. After looking like a scene out of a horror film in the previous video, this one seems like something out of an action film. The moment 3 armed robbers entered a home in the United States was captured on security camera early in the morning by a company in the country. You can tell that they're searching for something because they begin to wander about the home in search of it. What they didn't realize was that there was someone else in the room with them. They'd be taken completely by surprise. There was a couple sleeping in a room, and the lady, without pausing to consider her actions, began firing at him, completely disregarding the possibility that she could harm them. Obviously, the robbers were in a frantic state of mind when they fled. Following this, the husband of the lady, who is unaware of what had occurred, can be seen, and they come face to face with the armed woman who's already talked to police. Several films have previously shown the need of exercising caution in the changing rooms. Malicious individuals install hidden cameras in order to capture consumers altering or measuring their clothing. It may happen in the restrooms as well, so you must exercise extreme caution. Since they're selling these pictures for use on the internet, it's preferable to double-check that there's no camera present before visiting any of these locations. In addition, things like the woman who discovered a concealed camera inside a Uniglow changing station in Shenzhen are happening more and more these days. Following the disturbing discovery of a spy camera in a Uniglow shop fitting room on Saturday by a lady, Shenzhen police started an inquiry into the incident. When the lady, who went by the surname Zhang, walked into the room to try on some clothes, she saw a strange black button approximately the size of a sesame seed above the mirror. She immediately called police. The button was attached to the wall with chewing gum, which she discovered while standing on a stool and poking it. She discovered a pinhole camera connected to a wire after pulling the button off the button. Zhang quickly summoned the store's manager to the scene. They worked together to remove the gadget from the wall, which included a concealed camera, a memory card, and a charging cable. "It was still recording when I took it off," Zhang was reported as saying after the incident occurred. "Knowing that I was being recorded makes me feel very self-conscious. It's been 2 days since I've had any restful sleep." The management notified the authorities as soon as possible. He claims that the gadget does not belong to any of the store's employees and thinks it was created by someone who has previously visited the fitting room before he discovered it. Fortunately, no additional cameras were discovered in the other 9 changing rooms. There was also a case in which 60 girls and women were recorded by a hidden camera in the changing room of a cheerleading studio, which was later released. Franklin, Tennessee police are conducting an ongoing investigation into the circumstances surrounding a concealed GoPro camera that was used to film ladies inside a sports training facility's changing and bathroom area. The investigation is still continuing. Premier Athletics is a facility that provides a variety of sports programs to young women, with a particular emphasis on cheering, gymnastics, and tumbling classes. It's about 20 miles south of Nashville in the Tennessee state capital of Nashville. 1 week after Premier Athletics' general manager found the camera and handed it over to law enforcement agency, officers with the Franklin Police Department provided an update on the investigation that's presently ongoing. The information was made public on Thursday. On Tuesday, police stated that they were conducting an inquiry into the event. It was then reported by law enforcement officials that the recording device had been connected to an employee of the company. The identity of the male suspect has not been revealed publicly. After reviewing the video material, police assigned to the investigation were able to identify 47 of the 60 ladies who were seen on camera. They're still reviewing the film in order to identify the other people who have not been identified. According to the most current report from Franklin Police, the vast majority of the ladies identified are under the age of 18, and their guardians have been notified of their whereabouts. 2 of the ladies who featured in the videos, according to detectives, were partly naked. According to police, surveillance footage taken inside the Premier Athletics facility indicates that the person responsible for controlling the concealed device had been intermittently positioning the camera to collect video in the bathroom since September. According to the evidence gathered thus far during the inquiry, the suspect did not target any other private areas of the sports training facility during his spree. Authorities stated in a police update published Thursday that the girls' changing room and toilet at the heart of this inquiry is situated within the Premier Athletics suite. It's now believed that no additional bathrooms or private spaces in the multi-tenant building were hacked, according to the report. In addition to the GoPro camera itself, the police department confiscated other evidence, but officials did not give any more information regarding the nature of the goods taken. Following a thorough examination of the evidence, investigators intend to bring numerous charges against the individual, according to the agency. Police intend to publicly identify the suspect and provide more information about the case if charges are filed against him or her. The installation of a camera in such a private area is a breach of trust in its most severe manifestation. For parents and their children, this is a terrible source of distress, and it's just as worrisome for us, according to the latest police report released on Thursday. In order to protect sensitive pictures, assist victims and their families in coping, and build a strong criminal case for the courts, the department is working tirelessly. A request for further comment was made to the Franklin Police Department by Newsweek, but the department did not respond by the deadline for publication.